welcome to Chattercade Podcast, where we walk you through to the best of our ability, scene by scene, of a movie, and give our opinion on the scene in question, to an extent, and we don't sway away too much. I'm your host, Strong King Thomas Hughes.
What, bruv?
Yeah, that's Hayden. Okay, look at that.
Guess what film you're watching, innit? Fucking Kingsman. Fucking love it.
If you can't tell by the little
Innit?
spoiler there, today we're just discussing Kingsman: The Secret Service, released in 2014 and serving as the launchpad for the Kingsman franchise, with a sequel following 3 years later and a prequel now scheduled for 2021 as of a few days ago. The movie is directed by Matthew Vaughn, second British director on this podcast, who got his directing career off the ground with Daniel Craig's movie Leakey, but he became more known for bringing new life into the X-Men franchise with X-Men First Class, as well as bringing the Kick-Ass comic to the big screen. First one, not the second one. He didn't do the second one, that's probably why it wasn't as good. The movie star... how would you put this? An up-and-comer, in a sense. He's not an up-and-comer now, but when it first came out, he literally was an up-and-comer, which is Taron Egerton, who, due to this is being great, obviously for his career, he obviously managed to land leading roles in Eddie the Eagle as Eddie, Robin and Robin Hood, which wasn't a very good film from what I've been reading, and obviously Elton John and Rocket Man, which was
ironic, very ironic for the next one.
It is kind of ironic for that. That's probably why he's like, yeah, you can be him. But my preferred performance of him is actually Rian in the incredible Netflix series Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. Love that series. Joining Taron is Colin Firth from A Bridget Jones's Diary, King's Speech, and most recently the visual spectacular that is 1917.
And Centurions.
I was waiting for you to say. I saw that on the list. And I was like, I ain't saying it because I know you're definitely going to go and Centurions. But,
and the second one as well. With David Tennant.
He's also in Nanny McPhee. Do you want me to say that one as well?
Oh, yeah. Nanny McPhee.
We also have his 1917 co-star, Mark Strong, who was in Matthew Vaughn's Kick-Ass movie, which obviously we've already spoke about. As well as Shazam, which is his most recent sort of film, which is really good. And you know what, Hayden?
Yeah?
For the second time on this show, we have Michael fucking Caine.
Fucking Caine. Michael fucking Caine.
Who's in pretty much anything Christopher Nolan.
And it's the second time as well. The person's in.
Wait. I was going to make a comment to his most recent movie.
But you know
that's in cinema right now, Tenet. Which is apparently meant to be really, really good.
Oh.
But I've got to wait for the Blu-ray because I ain't going to cinema right now.
Why not?
I ain't dying for a movie.
Depends what movie.
No, yeah, sure. Probably Scooby-Doo 2 for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You'd be
die for Scooby-Doo.
You'd jump in front of a bus to get there. As you said, talking of returning stars, we once again get to talk about Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson. I'm trying to remember what I have a name drop from already. Incredibles, I didn't name drop either of them last time. Unbreakable and Glass.
Yes.
I'm trying to not, say everything he's been in, so next time he's on, we'll have, more things to say he's from.
Because it's Samuel Jackson. He's got fucking everything.
I do name drop one of his other films later on, but I'm never going to name drop that in an intro because it's a shit film, which I will say when I actually get to that part. But who else we got? We have Sophia Boutella, who was in the surprisingly decent movie Hotel Artemis, the one with Dave Bautista. Atomic Blonde, the one with Charlize Theron. Star Trek Beyond, which was actually co-wrote by Simon Pegg. And let's say this now. So obviously, Kingsman was a launchpad for what essentially is now a trilogy of movies. Let's just say she was in a movie which was meant to start a massive franchise, cinematic crossovers like Avengers style, DC style. Let's just say she was in a movie that was called The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually terrible. It's not great, I will say. It's no Brendan Fraser Mummy, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not as dog shit as some people will say it is. it still has its moments of enjoyableness to watch,
Mm.
but it's still not the greatest, and I can see why it sort of
I
fucked
mean,
up their plans.
yeah, we can't criticize him now
Well, because it's Tom
because
Cruise.
yeah, and if we do, we'll get kidnapped allegedly.
Well, I was going to state the only good thing about that film failing was the fact that we got The Invisible Man this year. Since
Yeah,
that failed, and they were like, okay, we'll just do some random
be
other
better.
ones now. And they made The Invisible Man. Well, they gave
Mm.
the rights to Blumhouse, and they're like, there you go, get to work. And they did, and they made such an incredible movie. Hopefully, they can do the same with The Wolfman, which they're working on at the moment.
Mm.
But anyway, what else we got? Oh, last but not least, we actually have Luke Skywalker and the
Yeah, we
animated
have
Joker himself, Mark Hamill,
Mark Hamill. Yeah,
who's a
doing
great
a
joy
very
to
very
watch.
convincing English accent.
Well,
Very rare
I'm
that
pretty
you
certain I
like get a
saw
good.
him in a
Mm.
film before
Mm.
that was an English movie. It was a horror, and he was in it. And I'm pretty certain he did an English accent in that as well. And he was good in that.
Mm.
It was like one of the first films I've seen him in since fucking Star Wars. That's how long it had been since I've seen him on the screen. But
So it's very rare that you like hear an American do a very convincing English accent, but when they do, like do it good, they do it good.
like it, for
But rare.
example.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think that sums up most of the actors here.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie focuses on a spy organization recruiting a street kid into their agency and training him up while a global threat begins to take form from the world's leading tech genius. You know what I realised
Yeah.
from watching this?
Well,
It's kind of like what would happen if Elon Musk went crazy and tried to take over the world,
I
and
swear
and
there's a
also
reference to Elon Musk in
developed a
there.
lisp at the same
Mm.
time.
Yeah, because you know what? Like, there's a scene like near the end where he calls up. He says, "E-man." I swear it's Elon Musk. He's what he's talking about. He's about buying a satellite, so
It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair.
that's Elon Musk. I think it's reference
It would have
because
surprised me.
there's a lot of celebrity references in this film,
Of course, there
which
is.
we'll get on to
Okay,
because we haven't
so
revealed the plot.
yep. So let's get straight into this. Then the movie
Yeah.
opens in 1997 in the Middle East
Mm-hmm.
as a
Yeah.
helicopter flies at a terrorist base and begins to blow the living shit out of it with
It's
toe
like
tapping tune playing.
it starts off like a really fucking cheesy like spy movie.
And obviously goes from that to an actual proper spy movie, not cheesy.
Yeah, like a proper dark, like
It basically
action.
went from a old school James Bond to a
Yeah,
modern day James Bond because
yeah,
obviously the old ones are a bit cheesy at times, whereas the new one is actually
all dark.
yeah, dark and gritty and grainy, you name it.
Your parents are all dead. Blah blah blah. No, I'm Batman. Wait, I'm
Wrong
getting
franchise, wrong
confused.
franchise.
I'm getting confused.
Uh, but yeah, so after obviously the explosions, you can hear obviously shouting inside. So it's inside
Pew
where
pew pew.
there's a man being obviously interrogated by masked
Mm.
soldiers. When they sort of push him back and he pulls a grenade, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Grenade.
Yeah, one guy runs at him, pushes him out of the way,
Yeah,
jumps on top of him, gets killed in the process.
and then one of them pulls the mask off, and it's fucking Colin Firth again. Shit, I fucking missed it.
Yeah, Colin Firth,
Fucking
who's
missed it.
playing Harry Hart, aka Galahad.
Yes, and he's fucking amazing in this film.
He's missing the bit. He's like my favourite character in this movie. That's what I'll state
Yeah.
many times. And obviously, him moaning then causes the next guy to remove his mask, which is Merlin, played by Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Another standout of this movie.
Oh fucking.
The cast is probably my favourite thing about this film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And obviously, he's obviously on about his training going well. And then the final man obviously reveals himself as Lancelot, which is played by Jeff Davenport, who, in a while we won't need him anymore.
What was that, Tom?
I didn't know. But yes, and he's like, okay, welcome to the Kingsman. So he's welcome to the agency, as this was sort of the end of his training. And
Yeah.
Harry's like, don't worry, I'll deal with this dead guy personally. Before we obviously cut to London and meet the widow, who is told, obviously, of his death. And Harry tries to hand her that medal that he's got in his hand. And she's like, I don't want the fucking medal.
Yeah. It's like, he tells, like, obviously, like, to call a number if you ever need a favour happening, and to remember to always say, Oxford's not brogues. and he's like, I don't want that. I want my fucking husband back.
Tell she's from EastEnders.
Yeah, it's Ronnie from EastEnders. For the
uh,
English people that know, Americans have no fucking clue what we're on about.
but yeah, she obviously refuses it. He walks away, speaks to
Mm,
the kid, Eggsy, who, again, similar to when we did Godzilla last week, I will not name drop Yeti yet because it's not him at the moment.
mm,
But he takes the medal from him. So that's literally the intro. So it's an interesting start to,
yeah.
obviously, you get to know all the characters' names, whereas every other film we've sort of pretty much done, apart from
Mm,
like Scooby Doo, because obviously we knew already who they are. But I
yeah, we
mean,
didn't need to.
all the other films we've done, you don't get to really know the character's name. So like
Mm,
a little while into the film,
mm,
not the intro, but this is like, okay, we'll give you a bit of action to start off,
yeah.
and then we'll actually give you some actual basic knowledge of the characters and their
Mm,
names, which, as I say, is a bit different to what we've covered so far, which
yeah.
I do really like.
And to think as well, like the whole, like the film, like it could have been another cliche. It could have been like another normal, like boy goes into this weird world of like secret stuff, like every other fucking like teen film,
With Harry
like
Potter.
yeah, Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, fucking Mortal Instruments, all those kind of films, or like this random normal person is shoved into this world because of a relation of one of their relatives was special and what shit. Whereas like in this one, like straight away it's a spy film. Straight away, this is the world, and we go straight into the spy stuff before we go into the more
Mm,
mundane human stuff. Like it takes a while before we even get introduced to adult Eggsy.
exactly.
So
Obviously,
like,
it's quite a bit further down, because obviously,
mm,
I won't say what the next bit is yet, because obviously we're still talking about this, but
yeah,
obviously it cuts to the next scene, and it's still a while before we
mm,
even meet Eggsy. It's quite
yeah,
a little further down the line. So obviously we have
me,
to be introduced to Mark Hamill first, and then
yeah,
Sam Jackson and
mm,
Michael Caine. Is that the scene before Eggsy?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Literally, we get introduced to literally the
yeah,
villain and the main supporting good guy before we even get introduced to like Eggsy. That's like being introduced to Ron and Voldemort before we even see Harry.
as part of this
Like we just we
gingerbread
just see,
trains.
we just see a little baby with a little scar, and then he's got gone for a while until we see him come out the cupboard. That's literally what we're like.
Pretty much.
It's a very different way of doing it, and I think works because it's not going into the same cliches. It's just completely different and much more entertaining to watch. I
No,
shall
I
say.
will say this intro isn't like my most favorite like intro to a movie,
Mm,
but it still does
yeah.
enough to get me interested and draw me into the plot
Mm-mm,
and want to continue actually watching this film.
yeah. And there's a massive like tonal shift. Like they're always like the tone's always shifting in this film. And like in other films when they try and do that, it doesn't work at all.
It's
Like
like, yeah,
cough,
because
cough, cough, Jaws too. But in this one, it works so well. Like it blends really good. Like I was said from the start, it goes from the cheesy like Bond films to them bam dark shit, and then it goes to you see the consequences of what happened, which you don't really see in most like action films. You don't really see like the result of one bloke just jumping in front of a grenade. You don't see like the main guy, main spy guy, go to that person's family and like give them like look what he does. He gives them a favor. You
so,
wouldn't see that.
and so they have to sort of do that to sort of progress the plot later on,
Well,
or
yeah, it's
else
more for plot, but it also
you'd be sitting there going, "What the fuck is this kid got a
yeah,
medal out of nowhere? Where's this come from?" You wouldn't obviously know.
the
So,
medal's really not the most important thing. Really, it's
I
the
mean,
fact that
I'd say it's
they
important.
actually. It's more of a MacGuffin. It's like it's just there for plot, but the actual him going there, it's more of like it's showing his character, which we will reveal more later. Like how it shows he's more caring. He has Hart. Did you get it?
Irony. His name's Harry Hart. I get the joke. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Well,
Well,
debatable.
yeah, I was say debatable, but
Mhm.
so we get away from the intro. We've done that long
Yeah.
enough. We've been speaking about it for like 10 minutes. We're done. We're done with the intro.
Yeah.
We put 17 years later to Argentina in a very nice
And
little snowy landscape where Professor Arnold, played by the good
mm,
Mark Hamill, we gotta admit,
oh yeah, Markle's great.
he's tied up to a lovely chair
Oh yeah.
and has his mouth taped up. Yeah, for a few seconds before the guy slowly begins tearing it off. To his annoyance, because he's like, oh, just rip it off already. He's like, oh, I can't actually do that, sir.
Mm,
I don't know why I'm reading English then. The guy's not English, the background.
yeah, he's not Russian.
I don't know.
I think he's Russian. Because the classic like cliche, obviously, as well in a lot of spy films is the villain's always foreign. It's like how in a lot of American films the villain's always English.
Yeah, because we're good bad guys.
Yeah, and a lot of British films they're always like a Russian or they're German or they are any
Which
other
I reckon
type
is a
of
joke we'll see
European.
later on with that set of salute moments.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, so
We'll get to that.
obviously he takes it off, says he can't harm him, and
Mm.
then he tries to get out of the situation before the guy's like, no, you're staying put. So do you want a drink? And he's like, oh, get this like really fancy whiskey or whatever it is. I can't remember the actual
Mm.
name of it. And he's like,
It will make you
ooh.
shit.
Yeah, because he's like, ooh, over the idea of this whiskey. And also the guy goes
Mm.
off, gets the whiskey, and then we get a knock at the door. And the guy obviously approaches with the gun in his back of his trousers, holding
Mm.
it obviously, and then he opens it
The
to
little
see Lancelot, who makes
the
the little
cheesy
joke.
line.
I guess asking for a cup of sugar is a step too far,
It's so fucking cheesy,
but it
but
works.
it works. So yeah, it works out.
He,
Like
he then just like shoots them all.
yeah, he kills them all.
Bang, 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 bang.
And the fucking fight scenes, like straight from the bat,
That's
those like action scenes, amazing. The camera follows like all the action.
that's probably my
Beautiful.
second favorite thing with this film is the
Mm.
choreographed fight scenes. Because
Yeah.
if you look at all the films we've covered so far, there's
Mm.
not really been any sort of like human fight scenes
Yeah.
between obviously humans. Obviously, we've done monster fight scenes, but they don't count because they're giant monsters. They can
The
either
closest we've got is Step Brothers.
yeah, pretty much close. Well, actually,
And Step Brother and other guys.
I would say other guys because there's a few like little sort of squabbles in that. They're the closest we've got to actual fight scenes before this because what we've covered so far, we've covered what 5 horror films. We've covered 4 family aimed but not a family looking
Mm.
kids film. Well, sorry, 2 of those are definitely not family kids films, but 2 of them are.
Yeah.
Obviously, we covered 3 monster movies, and then we covered the Will Ferrell universe. So this is our first action film, and
Mm.
for this to be our first one, I will give it props. Just the
Yeah.
fight scene so well. I do make a
It's
joke
good.
later on, but I don't know to spoil the joke yet.
It's going to be hard to top these fight scenes in of action films we do because, like, even like we love the Marvel films, but even they don't have the level of like creativity with their fight scenes because obviously they do a lot of fast cuts because that's what a lot of action films do.
Yeah, but
But this one,
if you think about those ones though, the issue with that is the fact that a lot of these fight scenes are using superpowers. This is
yeah,
just 2 humans fighting. Sorry, uh, 1, 2,
mm,
3, like what 4, 5, something like that. Humans fighting.
mm,
Whereas you can't really compare them to those sort of films because they're
yeah.
totally fucking different.
Although, think about it, like Defenders and other like the Marvel like Netflix series, a lot of their fight scenes are like, especially Daredevil and like,
Yeah, but the Daredevil fight scenes are amazing always.
mm,
Especially,
they're very similar. So it's possible. Like what I'm trying to say is like the long cuts is very like a ballsy move, but like it pulled off.
that's if you
They,
look at the 3rd series of Daredevil,
mm,
they did the very long take in the prison
mm,
fight scene. It was like a 10-minute scene. It was following him around during this fight. and it
Mm.
worked like hell, which is why
Yeah.
Daredevil is like one of my favorite shows around. Is because it knows how to handle fights. Which,
Yeah.
to be fair, all those I was saying four, all those six
Mm.
series, they're a lot different to obviously the movies. So the fact that obviously they, apart from Iron Fist
Mm.
and well, Luke Cage partially and Jessica Jones partially, but not fully. They don't
Mm.
focus fully on superpowers. They focus a lot more
Yeah.
on the combat side of it, which is nice to see differently than the obviously what you got on
Mm.
the other hand, the movie side of it, which obviously is like okay, showcase all the powers,
Mm.
blasters, you name it. This is like no, actually, let's do proper combat fight scenes, which is nice.
I mean, like the same can be said for like other spy films. Though, like a lot of them are like cheesy. Like the best way to put it is like Austin Powers. Like whenever they do anything, he goes judo chop, just like that every fucking time. It's like judo kick.
Yeah, but that's because they're taking the piss out of spy films. That's
Yeah,
why.
but
No
that's the
joke.
best way to explain it because a lot of like spy films is like with cheesy fighting, whereas obviously this is more proper gritty
Yeah,
fights in like a very good way. And then we get the next bit of the scene.
yeah. So obviously the guy with the whiskey comes back in and gets killed
Hmm.
instantly. Drops the glass, but gets caught by Lancelot. He's like, should, it's sort of like a don't waste a drop or something like that.
Yeah.
He goes to try and drink it, then another knock at the door occurs. He does the same thing, gun behind his back, slowly approaches, and then he's then split down the center from the top of the
Hmm.
forehead down to the bottom. And something I spoke about beforehand. That not it's not the greatest CGI effect. It's not the worst we've seen. I will
Hmm.
say that we've seen a fucking lot worse, but it's not the
I mean,
greatest. They've clearly took their budget more on the cast and the
yeah,
fight sequences
and the
than
later on scenes.
yeah.
Mm.
They've clearly focused more on that than obviously these sort of scenes. As I say, it's I'm not going to complain too much, but it's not the it's iffy for me.
Like
But
for me, it's like I didn't see it as a problem. To me, it looked like a normal CGI. Like I wasn't expecting like I'd say keep saying it again, but like in Avengers, like Captain Marvel CGI or Infinity War kind of CGI. You know, like when they actually managed to make fucking Sam Jackson look like he was young. Was expecting that kind of fucking CGI, but compared to like other films, as I mentioned off recording to you, Underworld when they did a similar scene, I I prefer this version.
yeah, but as I said,
That
off recording, issue with the
yeah,
underworld is you can defend that for the fact. Well, it depends which one you're on about. I can't remember which one it's in.
that's the first one.
Then that's why it's like it's like what 2000
Hmm,
2001, something like that.
I think so. It's the one I think,
Yeah, so you
but
can sort of
still,
defend that because it's early 2000s. CGI wasn't the greatest back then in general.
yeah,
It's just
but
improved over the years.
still,
Yeah, well, so the obviously dies by the hands of well,
mm,
so I should say the feet of Gazelle, portrayed by
yeah,
Sophia Botella. She's
mm,
obviously got like blade, like the sort of Olympic style blades on her feet, but actual
yeah,
knives rather than what they have at the Olympics. Oh, Paralympics,
mm,
sorry. Um, she places the drink down, grabs some sheets, puts them all over the bodies before opening the door, handing
mm,
the drink to Valentine, played by Samuel L. Jackson,
yeah.
who lets Arnold and the audience know he hates violence, blood, which
I hate blood.
that's why the sheets are there,
Mm.
and that's going to play into fact later on.
Yeah, he even says like that. Even just the sight of it like makes him projectile vomit everywhere, and it's like he's very like descriptive about it. It's ironic.
Because we get to see that later.
Oh yeah, I don't. But it's a very different like way of doing a villain. Like he's very
Small but
he,
stupid.
he's very like he's got a lisp. He's very like doesn't like violence. He's very like he's out of his comfort zone in a way. Like he's fine with people around him being dead as long as he doesn't see it. Like he doesn't want to see the bit of blood. Obviously, like grossed out. It's a very weird way of doing a villain, but it's different. And it's good because obviously, like a lot of like the Bond films, their villains are all like evil and like just evil, whereas these one, he's like got his own character, like his whole story will explain later on. Like, it makes sense if if you're crazy, but it still makes sense in a Thanos kind of way.
So yeah,
And so the way they've done like his characterization and how different it is to most villains is good. Cause like a lot of times he cracks those like weird like sarcastic comments or like there's like weird like banter kind of jokes. He's just kind of different. So, yeah, I liked it.
so yeah, we then cut to Harry in a taxi headed to the Kingsman Taylor shop, which is
Yeah.
revealed to be a cover for the secret base.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into the dining room to meet Arthur, the leader of the organisation, who is played by Michael Caine.
Michael fucking Caine.
They talk about the death of Lancelot and have a little toast for him before announcing that they will start the search for the replacement tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp, and that each member of the table must bring forward a candidate before the meeting ends. And Merlin enters, takes them through what happened to Lancelot, essentially what he was up to. He was tracking a bioterrorist to Argentina, found out the kidnapping, went in one-man mission, fucked up, died. And then they say that the guy who went there was obviously shows the image of Arnold. Is like, this is the guy who went for.
He's not actually missing.
Yeah, he's not actually missing. He was seen at the campus
literally
just this morning. And they're like, okay, that's a bit weird. And then Arthur tells Harry that he should pick a good candidate this time around after what happened last
experiment. Where obviously, like, Harry goes...
Yeah, he gets really angry.
He basically says, like, well...
He saved my life.
After all this time, like, you still fucking, like, just give me shit about this. Like, that man saved my... I wouldn't be here if that man. And obviously he's basically calling him a snob.
Pretty much.
With all respect, Arthur, you're a snob.
And then we finally got to Gary Eggsy Unwin, played by Taron Egerton. Who just be known as Eggsy this entire film. Apart from one scene, he actually refers to himself as his full name in one scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that later. So he gets called by his mom. He enters and he's pretty much ordered by his mom's... Is it boyfriend or husband? I can't remember.
It's like his stepdad, so I'm guessing it's like his boyfriend.
Yeah, so he's like, I'll go down the shops and get... I can't
some
remember.
Rizzler. Some Rizzler.
Get them for your mom. And he's like, oh, go get it yourself. Or send Poodle to go and get it. Because, you know, everyone in his organisation is called dogs.
He's like, freeze a crowd, why don't you get your Poodle to do it?
Yeah, eventually he's like, oh, just take this money and get yourself some sweeties as well.
Some sweets, yeah. And I can show you, man, what free can do in the crowd or some shit.
Yeah, clear hinting that he wants to do a threesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a bit weird because that one's like he's a really short, chubby guy.
Why is that weird? Are you saying short, chubby guys are weird?
No, I'm just saying, like, why would you want to, like... Why he's having off? Why would you want to, like, watch another man? Weird. I don't understand it. It's like, when, like, mate, like, kids going, like, oh, do Eiffel Tower? I'm like, fuck off, that's weird. No.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
So...
Moving on.
He eventually leaves after checking out his little sister.
Yeah.
Before we cut to him on a few drinks at the pub with his mates Jamal and Ryan. With Jamal saying the reason Eggsy's mum is still with, obviously, Dean is because she has a low self-esteem, which Ryan waves away by saying she and I quote, is well fit.
She's well fit.
He gets a little fist bump from Jamal as well. Eggsy sort of waved it away before... Well, Jamal kind of fucks everything up.
By pointing.
Yeah, by pointing at Dean's gang. And Eggsy is then forced to sort of calm down the situation and steal his car keys. Which we get the first of the 2 instances of bonkers playing over the background as Eggsy does some donuts in the car, mocking Rottweiler. And Rottweiler's there on the phone with Dean after he's drove away, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not having this now. He stole my car. He's humiliated
Come on,
me."
fucking car. He's humiliating me.
And next minute, the car begins to reverse back past them because there's a police car chasing them. A very weird chase scene because obviously it's all in reverse.
But I like it. And the sound design as well is pretty good because obviously when he drives off, the music starts fading away.
Yeah, and it comes back
until
on
like he comes back on more louder as reverses back.
I thought the chase scene in the other guys was weird. But this is a lot weirder for the fact it's them driving reverse. And he ends up reversing into a dead end before telling his mates to get out of the car. So
yeah, because
get the fuck out of the car.
But obviously, what he missed there was he saw a fox and purposely didn't run it over, instead crashed, which is a way of characterizing the fact that he would not kill an innocent animal, which will come into play later, shall we say.
I must have been asleep when watching that. I didn't see the fox.
Yeah.
I just seen him ram the cop car.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. He saw a fox and purposely didn't say crashed. Which obviously his mate's like, I should have run it over, mate. Foxes are vermin.
Oh, yeah, ignore me. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So he tells them to get the fucking car. He drives straight into the police car. Obviously, get himself arrested, but his mate let him fuck off.
Yeah, we then cuts him in an interrogation room, defending his mates, telling their names. Before he takes a phone call and calls the number on the back of the medal from the beginning, which gets him set free. So he then meets Harry outside, who offers him a ride home, which eventually he accepts.
Yeah.
And after he tells him about how his dad saved his life, and the two then go to the exact same pub he was in just a moment ago, and Harry tries to answer Ace's questions to an extent, which most of it is classified, so he tries to swerve away from it. Before...
bursting through the door is some example of young Ben who simply need a silver suppository.
Right.
I remember the scene, what he says.
So
the gang come through.
Yeah, Rottweiler and the gang come through. Harry tries to attempt to bugger off because he wants to finish his lovely pint of Guinness.
Basically goes, fucking good. That was just like, now, boys, whatever your beef with Eggsy is, I'm pretty sure it's well founded. I immensely enjoy it if you could just sit here in peace and enjoy this lovely pint of Guinness.
They basically then tell him to piss off. So he does, because he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But then Rottweiler makes a comment. So Poodle makes a comment. Ignore me.
Poodle, yeah.
Yeah. If you want a rent boy, there's one on the
Smith Street.
You know too many details about this.
Shut up. I had to recreate this video. This scene I had to recreate for the media. So this scene,
you never told me that before.
I know pretty well.
So obviously this angers him, which caused him to start locking the door of the pub and begin muttering the line, "Manners maketh man."
Man. You know what that means? No. Let me teach you a lesson.
Yep, he basically begins to take out the gang one by one.
Yeah. Smashes uses the umbrella to smash the glass into Rottweiler.
Yeah, smashing off Rottweiler's face.
Yeah.
So he uses the umbrella, he uses the other guy's hands.
Yeah, a lot of these attacks are pretty much just diverting their attacks into each other.
So you
obviously, which I think is pretty good.
Getting beaten down with the umbrella even more.
Zaps one guy with his
tases a Poodle. Oh no, sorry. He shoots a weird thing out of his umbrella, or the taser thing.
Yeah, he's the thing there.
That sort of taser handcuff, whatever the fuck it is, which locks Poodle to the bar, like a bar on the bar. Say that 5 times fast. Bar and bar, bar and bar, 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 bar.
Baba.
He gets tasered. I say someone gets tasered with the ring.
Hmm.
He pretty much just beats them all up.
Yeah, and then obviously
Yeah,
Rottweiler is
Rottweiler
like,
gets up with his
"You
little gun.
fucking dirty!" We get a gun out, like fucking dirty. But of course,
Yeah,
Harry pulls out
pops the
the
umbrella
umbrella,
open
magic
and
mode, Poppins mode,
just blocks every single shot of his magical umbrella
and
before
just like rolls his
shoots.
eyes, switches to rubber bullets, and
Yeah,
like,
shoots him in the head. Dunk.
boom,
And the bartender tries to call the cops,
like
so
fuck
he
this
sets
shit.
him with the amnesia dart from his little
Hmm.
watch, and
Yeah,
he goes just back down BXC as
yeah,
the last bit of his points,
yeah.
and
Sorry about that. You let out a little steam.
he tells him obviously about the death of Lancelot and his friend
Yeah,
died before he threatens Eggsy with the amnesia dart as well.
so, sorry about sexy. Yeah.
Obviously,
Oh,
he's like, I won't tell anyone, so he just
on my
leaves him
life.
and he leaves the
He,
carnage.
he taps him on the shoulder and then walks off.
Yeah, and it cut to Eggsy returning home and getting attacked by Dean.
Who the fuck is that bloke? I
I'm,
don't know anything.
I'm
Don't
just gonna
know.
hear this entire podcast on this you trying to do a very Londonish accent.
I don't fucking know.
He pulls a knife on, well, butcher's sort of
Yeah.
knife on him, and then Harry's
Basically, he
prompted
doesn't
to,
give him up. So Harry, obviously, he's been listening this entire time.
yeah, he's put
So
like
when he
a
touched his
device on
shoulder,
his neck.
his little bug, tracking the bug, so he knew where. Obviously, he's following Eggsy and listening to find out if he gave him away. Because if he did, obviously, then he's not loyal. But we know that Eggsy is very fucking loyal. Because during the entire interrogation scene of the police, he never gave up his friends. And apparently, he never does. And the whole point is that's it. He never grasses anyone up. So it shows how loyal he is. So when obviously he doesn't give Harry up, that confirms in Harry's head he's loyal. He's like his dad, and tells him to meet him at the tailors he told him about.
Yeah, he sort of starts shouting for the
Mm.
fact that he knows who Dean is. He knows he has enough
Yeah.
evidence to put him away for good. Dean's like having a panic attack. It's like, where's the hell's that
He's like,
coming from?
he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Just do the accent, please.
That's what he's saying.
Anyway, he obviously runs off, and then we get Bonkers again as he just managed to jump down from the gang and leg it until he meets Eggsy. Oh, so he meets Harry at the tailor shop. And, he activates that lift in the back, takes them down to the lower floor, explaining the history of the Kingsman and what they're all about until obviously Eggsy cracks that little joke about how deep does this lift go.
Yeah. How deep does your fucking lift go?
How do we say?
A big thing.
You swear you put to the English accent.
Yeah, because this film, I like how even though it's like a very fantasy kind of weird sci-fi kind of science and that still, the actual characters are very realistic. There'll be a lot of swearing going on. Let's be honest. Britain, there's gonna be a lot of swearing.
A lot of swearing everywhere. It's not fucking Britain. Oh, fuck's sake, I'm fucking swearing now.
You fucking
Get
idiot.
fucking foul language out my mouth.
But literally, it's a way of doing I think it's all fantasy, but the actual characters are real, and I like that because obviously a lot of spy films are very they shy away from being very sweary and real. It's all they use it for more just a distraction, really, to be honest, and try to make England look so posh and all regal. Everyone's all gentlemanly. And obviously, this film is straight away eggs as a chav.
Yeah. So we're trying to push this along a bit more because we're not even halfway through this movie and we're already 40 minutes into this.
It is a 2-hour film.
Yeah, but we've covered 2 hours film before. I think we've made the halfway point already. But yeah, so it gets the left to the bottom. There's like a sort of train tube, whatever you want to fucking call it, at the bottom. Gets in, it takes him to the country estate. And Eggsy looks on to see all the vehicles when they get out. Kingsman House, all the planes, all the cars, you name it. There's fucking loads in his bunker.
Yeah.
And then the two walk off and meet Merlin. Harry leaves him, so Eggsy goes in the room and basically goes to the first stage of training, which is them writing their names on a body bag and the details that they're next of kin and all that. Because if they give up the organisation, they'll be in the body bag. So
There's
next of
like
kin.
And your next of kin in that body bag.
And on top of that, if they die during this process, they'll also be in the body bag.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically, you don't want to be a Kingsman.
And we meet, obviously, the other trainees.
Yeah, he meets Roxanne, Charlie,
Roxy,
Digby, and Rufus.
And Amelia. Amelia.
Well, she's a random girl who will be gone very shortly.
What are you on about? Are you spoiling? But yeah, like I like how like they show straight off the bat. They show the whole point is there's like a class like prejudice in this entire like organization. So obviously, Eggsy's dad was probably like, the first ever like commoner to like ever apply. Should we say?
I would say apply.
And,
he got
you know
pushed
what I mean?
forward.
Get
First ever
picked.
got pushed forward.
Yeah, and like it shows the reason why Harry thinks they need Eggsy. They need someone like Eggsy because obviously all these posh boys are all like, oh yeah, I'm so great. Would you go to was it Oxford or was it Eton? Oh, I know. Did you serve me at McDonald's? He's like, fuck off, mate.
Let's leave you to recite the entire movie. I'll just walk away right now. I'm walking away. You can recite the entire movie by yourself. You gotta do it in that. You gotta do it in that accent now. You gotta do all the accents by yourself. You gotta do the lisp. You name it. I'm going there. See you later.
People talk so funny. Oh, I can't do the Swedish one. Shit. Tom, come back. I can't do the Swedish ones.
I'm back. Oh shit! I may have jumped on my chair and slid in the fucking away. Okay, I'm back. I'm back in line.
Right.
That's a funny moment. So yeah, back to the movie.
They're in.
Everyone, the three males are ridiculing him, as you say. Roxy's like, no, fuck off.
It's all. Don't worry about this. It's all army scare tactics.
Yeah, and so obviously, you clearly see from the get go, she's the good guy. They're the bad guys.
Yeah, she showed to be quite smart.
Yeah, then we cut to Valentine, who's complaining about how no one knows who. How no one knows who Lancelot fucking was.
Yeah, pretty much.
As you say, he's talking to the board about like how he can save the world with his plan. We zoom out to show him talking to, I believe it's the president in like Washington or someone. He's talking to someone like high power in America, but it never actually fully explains who. I believe it is the president.
It's basically like they're inferring that it's about Obama, but like, not directly saying it, but they're inferring it.
Yeah, sort of like that. But then obviously we cut back to Eggsy, who's asleep when the room begins to suddenly flood up, alarming everyone. And they all
wet the bed.
Yeah, they all begin to come up with these plans using shower heads in toilets, loose snorkels. Or Eggsy's like, now fuck this, I'm going for the door. So he tried to, open this door. No luck.
It's locked.
Swims back to them and realizes the mirror is like a
two-way mirror.
Yeah, two-way mirror. Yeah, one.
Yeah.
One-way mirror. You know what I mean. And he just, begins to punch the shit out of it until it breaks.
Yeah.
Which prompts Merlin behind the glass to step out the way because he knows what's going to happen. It's like, oh, nope, we're going to step out the way. And he basically sets them all free. Apart from, as you say, Amelia, who at the moment we know has strained.
Yeah, because obviously he starts off like congratulating like Roxy and the annoying posh guy for doing the whole shower head thing. Charlie. Doing the whole shower head thing, like putting the tube for the U-bend to get an unlimited air supply. Not sure if that's actually science, but we'll let it slide.
Can we try it? To see if it works?
Let's try it, yeah.
We test it on James because if anything goes wrong, then, we're not dead.
And then we get to laugh at him for drinking toilet water. But yeah, obviously, then he congratulates Eggsy for noticing that was a two-way mirror.
One of the way mirrors.
I think it's two-way mirror.
Yeah, I swear it's two-way. Yeah,
Normal mirrors are one-way
one way.
mirror.
Yeah,
'Cause you can't
unless
see
there's a
what they
spooky
want.
spirit on the other side of the mirror trying to get you.
Oh, look, it's Bloody Mary.
Uh,
So
yeah,
they guys.
you
But to me,
failed.
though, all of you failed because you forgot one thing:
Teamwork.
teamwork. And obviously, there's Amelia floating dead.
Yep. Which we'll get to a bit more later on. But
Yeah.
as you say, this scene focuses obviously on the smartness of these characters, especially
Yeah.
Eggsy. Okay, they thought of survival. He's thought they'd be get out,
Yeah.
and it shows you that he's a lot smarter. Sorry, than he let you believe he is. Because if you obviously look at him and how he reacts to stuff, you wouldn't think he's that smart. But then when he comes up with these sort of little ideas, which we get to see again later on, you're like, okay, this kid's smart.
Yeah, like the whole thing. Like, they all thought of the short-term plan, where he's like, "Yeah, we get air, that's good, but how the fuck we gonna get out of here?" Like, so it's like he's more of the he's got that instinct for like living on the the rough
Straight.
side, shall we say? Like he knows, like he can see the world a little bit differently. Like he can notice that it's a two-way mirror. Because as like even though the joke that Charlie says, he has been to like in jail and stuff, so he knows with the police stuff what's a two-way mirror. He can tell. So obviously he's pick up stuff which, again, later on in the film will come in to play. He has skills that they don't, which helps him become a good agent and shit. So yeah, so it skips to obviously then Harry going to see
Arnold,
Luke Skywalker,
and he talks to him about obviously his work before. He just grabs him by the scruff of their neck and tries to figure out.
My colleague died.
Yeah, tries to figure out what happened to Lancelot by threatening him, and holy fucking shit, they just killed Mark Hamill. They just killed him.
Slushy goes everywhere.
They blew his fucking head up.
But it's all colourful, so it's fine.
I didn't do that as naturally as I was wanting to do it. It clearly looked like I was reading from my script on the side of the screen here. I mean, I'm not reading from a script. This is off the top of my head.
Yeah, but you write notes. You fucking nerd.
What's that book you got in your hand?
Oh, this is
my notebook.
This is how to write notes notebook.
But yeah, they killed Luke Skywalker off, blew his brains out. Armed goons come running in, start to shoot at Harry, jumps out the window. Before we cut back to Valentine, who was listening to the entire conversation, and he's
my colleague died.
Yeah, he starts complaining the fact he loved Arnold. He's like, I love the fifth Arnold. Oh no, the fifth coming back again.
Goddamn no fifth round.
The fifth is coming back again. Steam out of love again.
You better fucking not carry on that. I'll cut this entire fucking podcast short if you do.
What are we talking about?
That's it. Bye.
Nathan. I'll see I'm alone. But yeah, he starts doing that sort of mocky British accent as well towards Harry.
My colleague died.
And before we then cut back to the recruits who get to choose a dog as a partner. Roxy chooses the poodle. Or Eggsy accidentally chooses a pug, which he believes was a bulldog.
A pug?
It gross, isn't it?
It's going to get bigger, right?
Oh, shit. And then we have this humorous moment, and we cut to Harry lying in hospital because he's in a sort of coma.
Because, he literally set off a hand grenade, but didn't get out in time.
Yeah, and obviously he got a bit of brain damage. Not the first time this franchise will have brain damage. But, so
with Harry involved.
Merlin and Arthur are trying to figure out what the fuck just happened before Eggsy enters and is told to just continue his training, which he does as the next step is running with the dogs, which they can't hold because that might mean they fail, but Egg's like, fuck this, puts a dog down his shirt, and then just begins his little jog while we have a montage of Valentine watching his SIM card chips being made, and Harry's still in bed, with a little bit of a beard now, bit more than I've got. We then cut to Eggsy in bed again, having water thrown over him, thinking, "Oh shit, the dreaded secret's happening again." But no, it's just the arseholes in the group. He squares up with Charlie, stopped by Roxy, picks up his dog, starts cuddling his dog, and we then get Harry finally awake. We got next. We got Eggsy and the recruits doing a quick writing test, which flies by. You don't really see much of that. And then they did the shooting test outside, where he's sort of being mocked again by Charlie, but eventually just gets a really good shot, and he's just like, "Yeah, fuck you." And then we have Valentine, the Swedish Prime Minister, and a Scandinavian princess.
Yep.
Who definitely doesn't like anal.
Are you spoiling stuff here?
So the
Republican invasion.
Prime Minister basically goes along with this. She chooses not to, so she's just escorted away by Gazelle.
Are you completely crazy?
Who then just brutally kills her security detail in some very badass fashion. Still the iffy CG, but I won't moan about that too much. So then the Prime Minister having a chip put into his neck with it, and we then cut to Harry just having a shave.
Yeah.
And Eggsy entering, showing his skills with his dog, so he can sit there. Good. And then Merlin enters and it shows him the footage from Arnold's death, which very much shocks Eggsy.
Fucking hell! You blew his head off.
Who's enough, Harry? And then
Harry.
They talk about Valentine, which prompts Eggsy to show them the announcement. Which is basically Valentine saying, "Oh, this SIM card will give you free calls, free internet. You fucking name it, it's yours." And
for free.
Yeah, it's gonna think as well. You can just go and get one. And Merlin and Harry then like, "Okay, we need to deal with this." So Merlin gets Harry an invitation to Valentine's dinner, and we then get to Eggsy on a plane.
Yeah, all of them on the plane.
Yeah, the entire recruits on the plane as they're preparing to jump from plane to get into a landing spot exactly on
where. Yeah, they got to go below the radar, but obviously hit a specific spot. So if they do
miss,
too early, they're out. They miss, they're out. If they don't open the parachute in time, they splat and die. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Roxy's revealed to have a fear of heights.
Yeah.
Again, we're playing to play later on.
Yes. So he's a bit scared, and Eggsy's like the cool mind here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, no, calm down. You got this."
Yeah. This scene shows how close they've got together, and how they've grown a friendship. They support each other, and obviously he's there. Like, you got to snap out of it. You got to do it. You're the top of the class.
Until
you can do it.
They go to jump. They all jump, and he just
stop fucking about.
He just stop fucking about and jumps. I just love how you say he's been really supportive at first. Like, "Oh, you've got this." And then he just shows him stop fucking around. He jumps.
Well, he's British.
And they're all having this laughing joke in the middle. They're all circling.
So fun.
And then Merlin's like, one of you doesn't have a parachute. And they're like, which one? So Eggsy, the smart guy, is like, "Okay, we got this."
Yeah. Everyone everyone pair up.
Yeah, pair up. That's the first bit. They all pair up. But Rufus pulls his shoes.
"Fuck this!"
And
Rufus, you wanker!
You know this film fucking lines too well. You're like me, the SpongeBob movie. But,
this film and fucking Shaggy, Scooby-Doo too. Like, they're the fucking ones that I can do straight away.
But he shoots up, so they have to do another plan, which is get into a circle. And one by one, they must pull their shoots. With obviously the last two, one of them's fucked, so they have to be working. So one by one, stop on the shoots.
It's just Roxy and
Eggsy. And he pulls her. He sort of holds her tight in that really spinning down, and he pulls her chute to make sure, obviously, hers is the one that's working, which it does. It works, and he has to hold on for dear life as they just crash into that circle.
Because they pull that chute pretty low.
Yeah, because it even shows you the radar, and it
Yeah.
shows you the line they've got to go from, and they need to
Yeah.
like get that and not below that, and they get really far below that line, and
So
they land pretty much, and then
the land.
Merlin comes out and it's like, oh yeah, you guys are out. You know, you
You
pulled your
three
chute
out.
too early. You didn't land
Yeah.
there. You didn't land
You
there.
two missed.
And you three are in.
You're afraid to Eggsy and to Roxy, too pretty ballsy for putting out that low new record.
Yeah, and he starts getting really angry. He's like, oh, why did you not put shooting? But then
He-
it turns out
His words were, "Why am I a gimp?"
yeah, it turns out there actually was a shoot.
Yeah.
He pulls the shoot and sends him flying backwards. So it
I
was
love the
literally just
bit where he
a
goes-
mental test.
I love the bit when he goes, "No, if you've got to complete, come whisper into my ear."
Yeah, and obviously he goes,
And pulls him back.
yeah. So this is obviously a very intense scene, which worked
Yeah.
very well. It once again obviously showed how smart Eggsy is, not just for the actual plan that worked, but the fact he came up with both plans of how it was going to work.
Yeah.
Which this film does well of pushing you with it, because he's the main star. He's meant to be the one that's the temple of this franchise, and they do very well to slowly build him up from this essentially a street kid to a spy. But
also letting him stay how he was.
Yeah.
Like he still keeps his character. As obviously seen by when he even though he did all this heroic stuff, saving Roxy and everyone, come up with his plan. He started right at the end, had a go at Merlin.
Yeah, he still has his sort of a chabby street kidness. But
yeah.
I do like how this film builds him up. It does it really well.
Yeah.
So
the payoff being fucking amazing.
Yeah, so then we cut to Harry meeting Valentine for dinner, but one-on-one since we cancelled the gala.
With what I think is the best way to do fucking product placement.
It's you know, you say it's a bit of product placement here. It's a bit of weird product placement, but as you say, it does work. It's out of nowhere, because they sit down and
it's not building up like it's going to be like a classic
you can do the accents
James Bond trap.
Yeah, you can do the accents.
It slowly brings it up, opens it. Fucking McDonald's is like, I have a Big Mac.
Come on, you can do better than that.
He's like, I like good choice, but for me, 2 cheeseburgers with secret sauce.
Where's your fucking lisp?
I can't do the lisp, and if I did the lisp, you'll do the lisp. I don't want you doing the lisp.
So you need to stop me.
Fuck's sake.
2 hamburgers with thick sauce.
Thick sauce.
There you go. Done the lisp. So yeah,
it's very hard to stay in that accent with the lisp.
They chaired down and talked about spy movies, especially James Bond, before eating.
The little reference as well, like how they say, like when they were both kids, they wanted to be each other's roles. It's like,
pretty much.
Funny how he had to grow up.
And when he leaves, he makes that joke of, "Thanks for the happy meal."
Happy meal.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha. Hilarious.
Valentine then reveals to Gazelle after he's left that there's a tracker inside the wine, so they'll know where he'll be, as well as who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Harry talking to Arthur about what he found out. Before Arthur reveals the princess is missing, which prompts a cut to her shouting at Valentine. Before he leaves very angrily, and we get the press conference to the Swedish PM. It's like, I won't stop till I found the princess and the kidnappers.
Yeah,
and he's like,
well, we know.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. We know. Merlin then hands the final 3 a picture and tells them they have to get information from her using their skills. Skills of seduction and all of them they try to do. So they go to the club and begin to talk to her.
I love that, because the way both of them are being very technical is like, and obviously this wine tastes like shit.
He's actually being serious.
I love it. Like, tries see what he's done there is very clever. It's like he's an opener. He's trying to get you involved. Like, this wine just tastes like shit, mate.
I do like her to that. So as you say, he goes in, starts doing this it's better eyes, isn't he? He starts making comments better eyes, saying they're not normal, and then
he's like, that's so beautiful. Are they contacts? Like, no, you've got to be contacts.
Roxy comes in and is like, you see what he's done there? He's put you down to actually get you to talk to him.
Back up again.
And then As I said, comes up, starts to play a bit of wine.
This wine tastes like shit, mate.
Is it wine or is it champagne? Sorry. Yeah, champagne.
Either one.
Yeah, it's champagne, that wine.
Tastes like shit, mate.
Yeah, and obviously he gets technical with him, and he's like, no, it actually does taste bad.
No, it just tastes like shit.
She gets
I think it's great as well, because obviously it's a hint as like something's up.
Yeah, so she then gets a phone call and leaves, and that bloke turns up and he's like,
James gets up.
He's like,
best way to make sure someone goes home. Rehypnol. And they're like,
well, no, it's not Rehypnol. It's actually something stronger. So he goes Rehypnol or something stronger.
Yeah.
So it's not Rehypnol. It's some other strong drug. But it's basically Rehypnol.
Yeah.
And he knocks them all out, and then he wakes up tied to a train track and attempts to get out before a train hits him. While the bad guy tries to get information out of him. It's like,
it's quite tense.
Are the Kingsman worth dying for? And he's like, fuck
Who the fuck is Harry Hart?
And it sort of looks like it's hitting him.
Yeah.
And then next minute, it's revealed that he actually got lowered into a secret little hole underneath the train track. So the train was real. They actually fucking had a real train, but they're not stupid enough to kill. So he's like, well done. Harry's standing there. It's like,
I fucking love that, yeah. That scene is amazing. Like, the visual, like, where Harry just replaces the fake Russian guy. Brilliant.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, Roxy's passed as well, it's like you. And Charlie's up next, trying to watch. And he's like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So, yeah, they go to watch. And
what
Charlie
do you
fails.
think Charlie's going to be like?
Yep, Charlie just gives them away instantly. He's like, no,
is it worth
I'll tell you over? I'll tell you about
no,
Arthur.
No, fucking not.
And then Arthur's just standing there, he's just like, I had hopes for you. Master Wayne. Oh shit, I've done it again. Wrong franchise.
I found you, Master Wayne.
We need to review those three, man, at some point. Just so we can just talk about Michael Caine the entire time.
Back to these ones.
Yeah, so obviously he books him off and he's like, you're going to cut me free? And he's like, cut yourself free. And he wanders off, and then we get the two final candidates and they're briefed. Yeah. We're basically told that they're going to spend like the next so long with their guardian. So Eggsy is with Harry, and he's sort of talking about the newspaper articles over his wall. He's been told that each one represents a cover-up in a sense of what actually happened in a mission. So he's like, England 5, Germany 1.
Yeah. One of them is
I missed that game.
There was Brad Pitt ate my sandwich. There was like Dirty Nun touch me up.
I didn't pay a lot of detail into them. I'm assuming you paused as they were watching them all. I bet you screenshotted every single one of them so you can just know what you said.
There's some good ones. There are. Me and my sister were laughing at one point when we were watching it.
But yeah, Eve's sort of just like, okay, then. I don't think I'm right for this. I'm not like a real man. I'm just like a chav in a sense. He's like, oh, I'll teach you to be a real man. And it's pretty much just says, go and make me a martini. And he's like,
first,
now you're talking.
Martinis. Now we're fucking talking.
And then we put to Valentine again, is it? Who's complaining about his technology.
Yeah.
And trying to link his hand to the table, which is going to come into play later on. And he drops a hint about the church, which obviously is what Harry found out earlier when he was spying on Valentine's system, was it? When she's walking past the church.
When he walked past and it showed like a little flat pamphlet for it.
Yeah.
But they didn't know like what it was,
but obviously he name drops it here again. And he also mentions that they've got a device that's very short range.
But we don't know what it does.
Before his hand like burns and he takes it off the thing.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Harry, who takes Eggsy to the tailor, where he eventually takes him into fitting room 3, since one he's taken, and he shouldn't pop your cherry into.
Yeah.
It's actually just a ruse. So he clicks a button, opens it up. There's like a back room to this, like a secret little area with all the weapons. And so what you got? We got fancy shoes, which turn out to be blades. We have.
After that, though, you got to do a German salute. So what does Eggsy do?
Is this a German something salute at first, isn't it?
It goes, do your best impression of a German aristocrat.
That's it. And he does the fucking Hitler salute.
That's it, yeah.
He just done fake moustache as well. I will not do that on camera.
I would have
done the joke.
you tap the heels together and the blades come out.
Yeah, the blade
But
comes out.
they've got like
Poison.
a fast neurotoxin in.
So you have to
So
gently push it back in.
yeah.
So we also have a pen that's a weapon, a lighter which is a grenade.
Yeah. A pen
and
which
the
you
ring.
put the basic fast acting poison in that's harmless when ingested, but you got to press the little thing and it would kill you. The grenades, there's the signet rings.
And
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
He actually tries to steal the lighter, doesn't he? He's like, "Oh, what's that over there?" Puts it in his pocket. Tries to walk in. He's like, "Put it back." And then we go outside, and the door opens a fitting room 1, and it's revealed that it's Valentine.
Actually, Valentine, yeah.
And he's like in his
nice
little suit.
Looking like a penguin.
Yeah, literally. He's literally, and he quoted a penguin suit.
Yeah.
And they start joking. They start discussing business, but also clearly hinting that they know each other. They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
What's the one comment he makes? Harry makes a comment about something. It's like a jail. It's like a jail or something like that. What is it called? What's the comment?
No, because like Harry says, like, if you're going to Ascot, you best wear a good like top hat. I suggest like lock and key.
That's it. Locked up.
Locking goes locked as in like smoked fish.
No.
Locked as in locked up.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, sorry. I probably understand you.
I do really love how they.
People talk so funny.
Yeah, he does. He obviously rips into the English accent
while having the lisp.
Which makes me take back this 2 fingers that just stuck up because it was quite funny. He took the piss out of us, but did it in a funny way, so I respect it now.
But in a way, he was taking the piss out himself.
Pretty much. So I do really love these sort of hints they keep making. They did it earlier on as well. It just really works.
Like, the whole like Bond movie and each of them like saying like idolize being like Harry saying idolize being the villain. He's like always the gentleman spy. He's like showing me how to grow up. Like Hidley saying we've changed roles.
Yeah, then obviously he leaves, gets the top hat, puts it on. But the top, it's got an actual speaker in it.
Yeah, it's revealed to be bugged.
It's bugged again, so Harry can actually track him. Before we cut to Arthur who meets Eggsy, where they reveal the dog's name is JB. No, not James Bond, not Jason Bourne, but 24's Jack Bauer.
Yeah, Jack Bauer.
The two start talking before Arthur pulls a gun out and hands it to Eggsy and is like, "Shoot the dog."
Shoot the dog.
And he's like, "What?" And at the same time, you see Roxy at the same assignment, who's also shocked, but she's given the gun by Merlin. Yeah. And Eggsy refuses to shoot the dog and then threatens Arthur, but it's cut short because you hear the gunshot from the other room. She obviously signals at the time Roxy shot her dog.
This is a big this was foreshadowed with the Fox scene. Like that's why they showed it. Is to show that he wouldn't actually do this, and it was foreshadowed again. It was when he was training JB, when he was a little puppy. When he pulled the gun out to try and get him to move, and he wouldn't.
And he put him down his shirt.
He was like, "I won't shoot you," but obviously, no, he wouldn't.
Nah, he wouldn't.
He was referenced. That was all leading to this moment, and to obviously show that his character, he won't kill those that were innocent, like a random dog or a fox. Like they did nothing wrong. And to show he's a good character. He likes to swear a lot and likes to fight, but he's also kind.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, Arthur then tells Eggsy to leave and then send Merlin to send in Roxy. So Eggsy gets in the taxi while Roxy's officially now called Lancelot. So obviously, as you say, it shows Eggsy has a lot of heart, and obviously there we have our new Lancelot. Because obviously Eggsy's not meant to be Lancelot. He's got a bigger role coming off. So he drives home.
Every day, you know.
Ditches. Are you spoiling something as well? He ditches the suit now. He's back in his street clothes. Greets his mum and sister, who's obviously a bit more grown up. Finds the bruise on her face and is like, "Where is he?" Gets in the taxi, drives to the pub, winds his window down, starts mouthing off at Dean. He's like, "Oh, you want to fight?" He's like, "Well, tell your little minions to go inside and I'll fight." He's like, "Go on, go inside, lads. I'll do this quick."
It'll be two hits. Me hitting him the floor.
And he obviously, like bugger off. start Mayfield. So get the taxi then. And he tries
Yeah.
to, but the
All right.
window rolls up.
Yeah. You fucking mug. Yeah, go and piss off, you mugsy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, no.
You're my fucking mum.
And he goes and meets Harry, because that's where the taxi's going. And Harry reveals that he's got a dead dog as well. He's like, oh, you shot your dog?
Yeah. Shoot your fucking dog for a job. No, I shot him, then took him back home, cared for him the next 15 years until he died of pancreas cancer.
What's the comment he made? Something about, it reminds me of a time I'm taking a shit.
Yeah,
That's the door, doesn't it?
Good job. Yeah, it reminds me of the time he goes there, yeah, I shot my dog. Mr. Fluffy reminds me every time I take a shit.
Yeah, and obviously he reveals that the gun was obviously had blanks, so he didn't want to kill a dog. Reveals that the woman that drowned, she didn't drown, she's actually working in the tech department. And then Merlin
basically
contacts...
So the whole scene though, like them showing that all of those like deaths were obviously fake, but they try to like hint that at Eggsy with the whole like him pulling the cord, show like you actually have got a parachute, which show like there are no, it's all like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, if he didn't pull the cord, he would have been dead.
Yeah,
unless there's like maybe they might have had like an instant like pull on it, like just in case it was a fuck up. Like if the button or something like instantly shoots the parachute up.
Like he probably had like a control.
Yeah, maybe. So if the taxi's got a fucking remote control, I'm pretty certain the parachute would have, because they wouldn't have sacrificed this guy to the floor. But yeah, Merlin then patches in, tells him that Valentine. Oh, it shows him Valentine's comms, which is where he's discussing obviously hacking, bingo, and obviously the church.
Going to meet just meet the Queen. It's like obviously he's now saying that we've got the entire like cover saying that we've got all these people from around the world all done now. So no time for the church test.
Yeah, and then we cut to Kentucky, USA, and Harry's sitting in that church. What?
Most strange scene ever.
This is probably one of the strangest, yes. But he's sitting in the church. This obviously preacher being very offensive. I'll point out what he says in a minute, but we quickly cut outside, showing the house across the streets where Valentine and Gazelle are, and watching through the camera, and they're obviously discussing stuff.
Saying had that out of range.
Yeah, we then cut back, and the preacher's like being racist, homophobic. He's just straight up being offensive, which obviously prompts Harry to leave. And he's confronted by that woman, and he then basically tells her everything that the church is against. And he's like, I'm all for all of this.
I love the end where he goes, well, praise Satan, have a good day. He just walks off, and she's ranting behind him.
And this literally all starts with praise Satan, because they then set the device off, and he basically then brutally murders every single person in this room.
Yeah.
It's like probably one of the most over-the-top sequences, apart from the end sequence, I will say.
Yeah, but it's fucking amazing. It's
the
most like gore.
Yeah,
proper violence.
Yeah, obviously you got Eggsy watching. He's really like, shocked what's going on. You got Merlin watching. He's like, what? He's trying to get in touch with me. Like, hey, what are you doing? Gazelle's watching on the reporting to Valentine because he won't watch. Yeah. And then
obviously they expected like Harry to die straight away.
Yeah.
The fact that he's the only one standing.
Yeah, he just kills everyone.
Everyone's dead. Oh, that's so good.
It's like, I would say it's probably my favourite scene.
Yeah.
But it's mainly for the fact that it's Colin Firth doing this. If you've seen any film he's done, he's never been like this. This is like the complete opposite of his kind of film. He does these like really like sort of like King's Speech, for example. It's like sort of like this big like Oscar contender movie that's like really like anyone could fucking watch it. And then he's just like, he goes from that to, I'm just going to brutally murder everyone in this church right now. It's
you wouldn't
against
see him doing that in Pride and Prejudice.
Or Centurions.
Yeah. Oh, well. You never know.
Well, you never know, yeah. But obviously he leaves the carnage and heads outside the church where he's confronted by Valentine, who shoots him dead on the spot after explaining what just happened to him, which is the SIM cards that are in the phones sends out a neurological wave that activates people's aggressions. And
Yeah. You just skimmed over the fact that he's dead.
yeah,
Well, got shot.
he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
But what I want to say is, this is what I said at the start. This is the second time I've seen a Sam Jackson movie that's been about a the mobile devices that basically fuck with people's minds. The last one was the terrible Stephen King movie, Cell, which is a fucking awful movie, but it's literally the same sort of concept of like getting with people's heads because of the phones, but instead of them just going crazy and they could turn it off at any time, this is literally just they basically zombified in a sense because of their phones. But it's a shit movie. I never recommend it. No one ever watched that film. It's just dog shit.
But this film,
back to this film we're on at the moment. The Kingsman obviously watching. They're really shocked.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh shit!" And then Valentine's like, "Is he dead?" And he's like, "That's what happens if you pull the trigger." He's like, "Oh god, that doesn't feel good."
But like when he shoots him, though, like before he does that, there's a reference to like it being like that's like spy movies, like old spy films where I tell him the entire plan, do some convoluted way of killing you, and then obviously just fucking shoots him in the head, saying that kind of movie. And it's like really like out of nowhere, like shocking because like no one really expected like a main character like Harry to get shot and die.
It's kind of like G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is the second movie. All over the front cover of the poster and everything. This is a big spoiler for that movie. You have Channing Tatum all over it because he was in the first film, big star. All over the second film's poster alongside The Rock.
Yeah.
Within the first 10 minutes, they kill him off. They literally kill off the main character from the first movie in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
And then appears in the second of this film.
And they did probably his little dancing. But it's like really shocking, but obviously it's just rolls it on. Literally, when I first watched this, I say he's probably like one of the biggest English names out there.
Yeah,
better than Michael Caine, of course.
I mean, he's that big that even in St. Trinians, they reference Colin Firth. They even mention him in a film he's in.
And as you say, literally, it's just a shock. Obviously, we know where this is going to lead later on, but we won't get too far ahead because, as far as we know now, shit, he's dead.
In the world of in that time when we just first watched this, it's very shocking, and it makes other scenes more intense because, think if they killed off Harry,
they could kill anyone.
They might kill off Eggsy. They've done stuff that's rare.
This could be like a one-off movie. They could kill the main cast off. Obviously, we know where this goes, but we'll continue before we spoil anything. We'll spoil that next time. So Eggsy then goes to confront Arthur and ask him what they're going to do, which turns out to be fuck all. The two obviously sit down and Arthur's like, "Oh, we'll have a drink. We'll toast him. I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to break a little rule here." Which Eggsy knows sees this scar on the side of his neck, knowing that he's got an implant as well. And then
he's like,
switches the drink.
You're spoiling it. He goes, "Oh, are they all Kingsmen?" And he points to a picture and he's like, yeah, they're all Kingsmen. Puts them down. Obviously, it's a really intense scene where Michael Caine starts getting a bit more intimidating. And then obviously pulls out the pen and he's like, "Hey, if you don't join me and Valentine,
it's pretty spoiling because you see him switch the drink. You see him move the glass.
No, they hide it.
Yeah, but you see his hands moving. You can clearly see he's switching glasses.
Well, they did it in a way that the camera actually cuts away from it. They move it up, so you don't see it. They only cut back to that later on. When he's explaining.
You do see him looking, and you can clearly see him switching then.
Spoiling some.
Really? You can clearly see him doing it.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Because it's a very tense scene. Ruining it. You're spoiling it.
I'm going to ruin it because they kill him off. You can't do this because in the drink was the drug from before. Michael Caine sets it off.
Yeah.
And dies. Well, saying.
To be fair, he sets it off himself.
While saying the words, "You dirty little fucking prick."
Dirty fucking. The most cockneyest right ever.
You can't kill Michael Caine off. You can't.
Oh, he's a bad guy.
I don't care. You can't kill Michael Caine off.
Different film.
Bruce Wayne would be sad.
Different film.
You still can't kill him off. He's like a legend.
He's still in it. At least he was in the film.
Yeah, but you don't kill Michael.
And at least it's not Jaws 4.
Yeah, but at least he survived that movie. Yeah, if you can call it a movie. Eggsy removes the chip from Arthur's neck and takes it to Merlin and Lancelot. The three then jump on a plane and head to Valentine's bunker as the chip basically serves as a ticket into the bunker. Sort of like a location. It's like, this is where you gotta go, so...
Well, Roxy...
It's essentially just like get your hands down to like a concert or a convention. So you can get in there. And
well, obviously, Roxy's whole thing she's got to do is she's got to go in a shoddy Russian, like, American
sort of
rocket
weird thing.
Jetpack thing. Balloons.
Yeah.
And shoot a missile out to satellite.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And we basically, obviously they fly off. They send her off into the sky. They sort of check out the well, he gets dressed up. Eggsy does. He gets nice and dressed up.
Oh yeah.
Really fancy and all. And then we sort of get to see the bunker security, which is about 60 armed guards, 2 missile launchers, and basically they're sort of obviously good talking. It's like, okay, if you don't shoot the missile before you hit the atmosphere, the balloons will burst and you're fucked. And that's it, game over. So we pretty much then cut to the bunker, and Valentine's like trying to talk his guests up because they're all like bored and like scared, and he's like, "Come on, it's a party." Send it to Jeff Goldblum in Full Ragnarok with his party plane. It's my
God.
There's like a montage of people using their phones all around the world, and it starts getting all badass. The badass music's kicking in, and it's getting going. And obviously, Eggsy's obviously talking to Roxy before they have to actually land. And they leave the plane. Marion stand up is dressed as a pilot. He's watching on, and he sort of ends up. It's like, "Oh, you can my ballet now." And he's like, "You cheeky." What's he say? "You cheeky sod."
You cheeky. Like he cuts himself off. But like he basically like, "Oh, congratulations, Merlin. He
says like a from pilot. He doesn't say Merlin, I think.
He goes, congratulations, Merlin. You gone from being my pilot to my valet.
Yeah, cheeky. This is not a cheeky mayor, I think, actually. But obviously he goes into the hold because the plane starts spinning down and goes into like a hold. While he obviously heads off into the party. And they said that obviously they need internet access before they can obviously kablamo shit.
Oh yeah. But obviously when he walks in, he's got to blend in, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's like I'll have a martini.
It's a martini, gin, not vodka, obviously, stirred for 10 seconds while glancing at an unopened bottle of vermouth.
You're a nerd. Yeah, so he's like, okay, I need internet access. Okay, Swedish PM's up there on his laptop. I was going to talk in. Darting real quick. Obviously, it allows Merlin to get into the system. It's like, Lancelot, you need to fire now. But the balloon burst, causing it to go off trajectory slightly. And then on top of that, Charlie returns, puts a knife to Eggsy's neck, and reveals, obviously, to Valentine that the Kingsman are here. And then he uses the signet ring and zaps him in the head.
Which totally won't go into play in the later film.
And obviously knocks him out. Lancelot then actually fires the rocket just before the final balloon burst, of course, to crash down into the atmosphere.
As you fall down.
Eggsy then bolts to the plane being pursued by the guards as Merlin's obviously trying to guide him to the plane. He takes out a few guards on the way, while Lancelot finally releases himself from that weird chair thing and free falls. And Eggsy's again still running, killing everyone in his sight. In very cool fashion, badass, like slow-mo jumping around.
It's a good way of showing like how far he's gone in his training.
Yeah, and just obviously as Valentine tries to activate the chips, the missile blows up the satellite, and Roxy, finally pulls a shoot and safely lands, which is obviously nice way to build up to where we're coming there.
Yeah.
So on the plane, Merlin realizes he can't hack the biometric system because obviously he needs the handprint. He's like, shit, I need to do this now. So he obviously confronts the guy. He's like, oh, what's going on here? I'm just a pilot. Exit comes, distracts them, giving him enough time to obviously shoot them all dead and get him on the plane. And he obviously briefs him and was like, okay, I need you to go in there and stop Van Flang's hand ever touching that desk. And he's like, what, you can't be kidding me. And he's like, nope. He's like, I'll have that weapon then. He's like, this is mine. You get your own.
Get on.
And he obviously opens the like a secret compartment. It's like, oh, the Kingsman weapons.
He's got to pick the umbrella.
Yeah, he obviously picks the umbrella. He's like, nice choice. So Van Flang's head then calls a friend, gets his approval, which, as you believe, might be Elon.
He's got to be like, hey man.
Obviously, he runs off to try and stop him. He notices Merlin notices all the guards running past the plane. And he's like, uh-oh. And then, using the umbrella, Eggsy basically tactically takes it all the guards, so a sniper cuts through the umbrella.
What I like,
I
like that. I like that.
I don't know why there's a sniper running around in his close quarters.
But I like how they kept the whole like realism of, it's not bulletproof. It's just it can deal with the pistols and the machine guns, but it can't deal with an actual fucking sniper rifle.
I just don't know why the sniper's running around. Why is the sniper running around?
They might need one.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're going to tactically kill this guy, why is the one guy running around with a sniper randomly?
No, they've probably got it in like a like an armored like armory. And that's the thing. This guy's got a fucking bulletproof umbrella. Try the fucking sniper rifle.
Even though he got the short end of the straw. And it's like, oh shit, you've all took the good guns. Oh well, I'll have the even better sniper rifle that's randomly placed here. It's not as if we have like surface to air missiles to blow anything up that comes near our fucking bunker. But yeah, he throws the grenade, which he obviously took as well. And goes everything. And he carries on running until he's pretty much cornered and backed up into a door, and he pretty much admits he's fucked. Merlin also admits he's fucked because the missile launch is in place.
Well, obviously, earlier on though, they learned that Valentine had a safety net in the chips that prevent the slabs from getting affected, because like it can superheat their brain tissue and go boom. So it's like obviously it's like, do you that information about the chips that you did?
Right, he gives a speech to Roxy first about his mom, saying call her up and tell her to basically
hide the daughter, his sister, and
then he tells Merlin about the chips, and Merlin's like, good idea, and he activates them all. And I think this is probably the most over the top scene I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, but I love the hacking though. Like the build up to the hacking, there was like all these people like get ready to shit on the plane. And then just everything will stop. So he goes, do you want to yes or no? He goes, yes, please. And then it all happens.
Everyone's heads begin to explode like fireworks in a very synchronized swimming fashion, accompanied by Pomp and Circumstance by Sir Edward Elgar. It's such an over the top fucking scene. It's funny, but it's really over the top.
I love the scene.
It's especially the fucking explosions. What the fuck's going on? The music over the top as well. But as I will say, it's a bit over the top, but it still works massively.
And unfortunately, not Obama dies.
Yeah, and then Merlin goes full Scottish. It's bloody fantastic or something like that.
That's bloody spectacular.
That was it. Eggsy then meets the princess, who was locked in the room behind him. She demands he let her out, but he requests a kiss, which she responds by telling him she'll give him more than that. So, okay then. And then obviously Valentine calls him over the intercom, and he's like,
yeah, do you think I'd have one of those in my fucking head?
Yeah, at the same time, you're having obviously Lancelot on the phone to Eggsy's mom, and she's locking the door in the bathroom. And then as he goes to go and save the world, the princess is like, you save the world.
You save the world.
I'll give you
in the asshole.
That was it.
Do it in the asshole. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and he obviously runs off to as Valentine's then showing like all the places that have been affected. So London, Rio.
Yeah.
Obviously that pop music in the background, the celebration.
Everybody wants.
And Eggsy finally arrives, and obviously he starts shooting at the glass, which causes obviously Griselda drops to the floor.
Yeah, with loads of weird puma noises.
Yeah, before saying, I've got this, and obviously she jumps through the glass. and begins to brawl with Eggsy. Elaine Valentine's obviously restart the sim cards, I'll put his hand back on. Which obviously showed Eggsy basically his mum going full shining on the door by trying to put the door down to get to the daughter, as Eggsy's still fighting Gazelle. As I said, the song still Give It Up is playing on the background, and he eventually gets the better of her during obviously a very slow-mo end fight scene.
Yeah.
He managed to basically slice her arm in that when she's jumping up to kick him. He kicks her in the arm and slices across her arm
with the
to poison this tip, and it basically quickly takes effect, and that's it. She's gone.
She goes on.
She goes all Teenage Mutant Shell Green and falls to the ground. He then is told that he needs to do this now, end it. So he picks up a shoe and basically harpoons her blade through Valentine's chest, which causes him to throw up, which obviously was pointed out earlier. Before he obviously
it falls down.
Yeah, it falls backwards.
Exit goes over, and he's like, "Are you going to do like a weird pun at the end?" Like
a very cheesy pun.
Like said to Harry, and like kind of movie bruv.
And he's like,
perfect.
He's like perfect, and he obviously dies, and they pretty much save the day. They're all celebrating.
So we go grabs two
champagne.
Glasses, champagne, gets a bottle, walks down. He's obviously
Merlin's like, "Where are you going?
What are you doing? We've got champagne on the plane."
And he gets to the door, just open it. He's like, "Merlin, what's the code?" Gives him the code real quick. And
mate.
He enters for a bit of anal sex, which
Merlin can say.
We're getting a very nice quick arse shot before Merlin turns off. Like, oh no! Shuts it on the, which is literally where the movie ends, apart from the end credit scene.
Little credits.
It literally ends with him shutting the door. So
I love how it ends. How it started.
Well, wait.
No, it started off with the like tape going through, the tape rings spinning, and then it reverts again to the same tape spinning, but with the same song, like a romantic song, cutting into an iPad. Obviously, when it's Eggsy's mum.
Let's talk about the fight scene first. Let's talk a bit more in depth about it. You've gone way too far. You moan at me about going too far.
I was going with the end.
Well, we've got the end of the fight first, and we'll cut to the next bit because that's a very short scene. So we'll talk about this bit first.
I thought we were doing that for monster videos.
What?
I thought we were only doing that for monster videos.
No, we talk about if it's a good fight scene. We'll talk about the fight scene. We talk about the last one.
Didn't talk about the fight scene in Scooby-Doo 2.
No one cares about the fight scene in Scooby-Doo 2. Actually, yeah, we did. Don't you lie to me.
I want about the fight scene between Scooby and Shaggy.
I'm pretty certain we just go in a bit of detail, but that's not as badass as this, though. So let's talk about this scene. So it's like one of the most over-the-top end sequences for any type of film there is, but it massively works for this movie because this movie at times is really over the top. It tries to be a level-headed movie, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Let's still go over the top. So this is the line of level-headed. Let's just go there. I don't give a shit.
They're blending the lines between cheesy action movie and real dark shit and comedy.
I feel that Michael Bay would be very proud of this, all the slow motion and the explosions in that fight sequence.
Yeah, but he would be upset though because there's no Megan Fox.
Yeah, so he'd replace Sophia Boutella with Megan Fox.
He replaced all of them with Megan Fox. Colin Fleur, played by Megan Fox.
It just deep fake edits their face over it. Who's Eggsy? Charlotte for Megan Fox still.
Oh God.
So we can talk about your end credit scene there. Go on there. I'll let you do this.
The end credit scene. So obviously, when you close the screens, the little green Kingsman symbols they spin around. And it fades into obviously a tape deck spinning how it started, and it's a very good way of doing it. And obviously, it goes from being an actual tape deck from the first start of it to an iPad app. It zooms out. It's Eggsy's mum. It's Dean all going fucking shit off, doing me again. Obviously, then Eggsy is at the pub door, leave it on, mum. I like the song. And obviously, then it leads to all the big guy and hey, fucking Mugsy, come over here, the player's going to fucking court. So the Eggsy's there saying that I've got a mate to give me a job. Taylor comes with a lot of perks, house, a car, comes with me. Whereas obviously Dean's all like, no, you're not fucking going anywhere. Going, obviously saying you can fuck off, blah blah blah. So Egg's like, go on, about to leave, and sorry, about to leave, blah blah blah. Dean says, go, why don't you go and knock up a chicken costume, you mag? So obviously then the perfect ending to show the whole character arc is Eggsy starts turning into Harry
Pretty much.
by copying the
manners line.
As a friend once said, manners maketh.
But before he does that, you can see Pooh in the background going, Dean, you need to stop, mate.
Dean,
you need to stop.
No, mate.
And he just gets smashed in the face with the glass, obviously, again. And as you said, that is literally where the movie ends. As he's about to go fight, he's like, okay then.
Of course, smile.
Are you going to stand there or are we going to fight?
We're going to fight.
And that is it. The movie ends right there.
Yeah.
And
best ending, I think, for that.
For his story
arc, with the whole arc. Yeah.
It does a nice ending there. So, time for the overall, I think.
Yeah.
So, overall for me, this movie is a very good film. It has comedy, it has action, it has over-the-top violence, good acting.
Yeah.
And of course, it's very English.
Very fucking English.
My main complaints, as I said to you earlier on, and I said in this recording, obviously, is the soundtrack in the first half of the movie is a bit dicey. But it does get better as it goes along. And the CGI for me is okay. It's not the greatest, but obviously it's not the
not a problem.
It's ishy. But yeah, I think it has a decent plot and good pacing. And I say it's got a decent story arc. It goes in a circle essentially. Got a very good villain in Sam Jackson. And it also has a great lead at the time, up and coming Taron Egerton. And I really couldn't fault the cast. It's probably the movie's strongest suit is the cast. Especially, as we stated, Colin Firth. For me, he's probably my favourite character and favourite part of this movie in general. He's just amazing. So, if I was to rate it, I would give it an 8. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but if you improve the 2 complaints I had, then I think it'd be a 9, but I'm going to go 8.
Alright. Overall, I fucking love this film. Like, the action scenes are just so good. And like when you're watching them, it's like you don't get bored. But it's also, it's not like a random mess, like, what the fuck's going on? You can see following it, and it's really good to watch. And the story is very, like, it's like a basic spy film, but they're twisting it in a way it makes it more real, makes it different. There's a lot of cliches that there's they're addressing, then just changing completely, and it's just fucking amazing. I really liked it. So I will say, because as you will know, this film for a long time was my favorite film of all time until Spider-Man: Homecoming came out.
Wait, you preferred this movie to Scooby-Doo?
I did, yeah. I'm perfectly honest. That is breaking news here. I like a film better than Scooby-Doo too. Breaking news.
Until later on this year, you decide actually no, Scooby-Doo's do better.
So honestly,
I can see where this is going.
This is a film that I can watch again and again. Like, literally, I watched it twice. Like, once yesterday and today, like in the past whatnot. And I could watch it again. I could watch it tomorrow if I wanted to. It's just one of those that I can watch again and again, repeatedly, and be completely fine with it. Like Harry Potter.
Come on, give us your fucking rating. I know where it's going. I've been doing hand gestures for the past 5 minutes.
Fucking 10 out of 10, alright? I like it.
Okay then. So that gives it a Chat Kev overall rating of 9 out of 10. Very much what I've been having the last few minutes. So Okay, it moves on to the question of the day. My question of the day is: if you could
Yeah.
develop any graphic novel, just like Kingsman's a graphic novel,
Yeah.
into a feature film, what would you choose and why?
I don't have an answer for this, Tom, because I literally don't know any other graphic novel. Seriously,
Let's see if I
I
can
don't know
answer it.
any other ones.
Hold
Like
on.
the only graphic novels that you could say would be like Marvel and DC comics. So there we go. If we're talking like comics as well as like graphic novels, Spider-Gwen. But that's the best I can give you, Spider-Gwen, because technically it's a comic, not graphic novel. But I just thought I'll say that before the nerds can beat me up, like you.
Well, okay then. If it's changed, I'll change the comment from
Mm-hmm.
graphic novel to graphic novel or comic.
Yeah,
If
there
that
you go.
makes it easier.
Makes it easier. So yeah, Spider-Gwen.
So I'm looking at my collection behind me currently,
Mm-hmm.
and the only one I can really see, obviously, because a lot of them are Marvel ones, like War of the Realms, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But if I was to pick any of them off here, I'd probably go with Soul of the Dragon, which is based upon this Power Rangers comic on Boom,
Of course.
which is
Of course.
basically it's just Logan, but in Power Rangers universe. That's literally what it is. It's a sort of an older Tommy as he's basically coming to the end of his sort of powers, and he has to save his son from basically bad guys. But each time he uses his coins, because he's got like one coin for every series he's been in, each time he uses said coin, that coin is dead. You can't ever use that suit ever again. So he has Mighty Morphin green, white. He also has Zero red, Turbo red, and Dino Thunder black. And he basically goes from Dino Thunder black to obviously Mighty Morphin green, and each time obviously his suits go bye bye, which is really nice, and I think that'd make a quite decent sort of feature film, especially if they brought back the actual actor, because obviously he's a lot older now. I think it'd really work as a sort of movie. That's the best I can give you.
Yeah.
I think that's where we call it. I
I
think.
go with that. We'll call that. Yeah. Who are we calling?
So, James. Hold on, I'm gonna call him twat on the phone.
He's a twat.
So that's it for the Chat Cave. Join us next week as we continue our Kingsman journey with the final entry until, again, similar to Godzilla last week, next year, as we discuss Kingsman the Golden Circle. But until then, I've been your host, Strengthening Tom Shoes.
Spoiler alert, Harry's not dead.
And this has been Chat Cave Podcast. One more thing, Hayden. Lock my door. Manners. Maketh. Man.
You fucking mug.
I don't know why I've locked my own door. Oh no, I'm going to put myself in.